What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday, and welcome to today's edition of Profits at Noon. We're going to get started in just a minute here, guys and gals. As is customary, we've opened up the room just a few minutes early. Well, we were early. Now we're noon on the hour. But I see Fred, Hal, and Jim are with us already. Welcome. It's great to see all of you.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome, Doug. Great to see you.
Familiar faces.
Core crew
Faces,
coming
names,
together.
I should say. One day, hopefully, I can meet you in person.
Right? I'm very much looking forward to the day we have a live in-person Profits at Noon event. I'm holding out hope.
The world has changed a little bit, hasn't it? Everything's done remotely at the moment.
It certainly has. Doug and Kevin, welcome. It's great to see you. Quick shout out to anyone joining us over on the YouTube simulcast. Welcome. We're very glad to have you. We're going to fire this up in just a second here. I'll give you a quick rundown on what you can expect. And then, of course, we have a very special guest in the house today, so we're going to make some room for his presentation as well. Quick note, if you are joining us over on YouTube, you're jealous of the guys over here in Zoom in the VIP section, and you want to join us, check for a link in the description beneath the video. You can get registered, receive reminders, and get first access to all of these sessions, the Q&A, etc. So all that said, I'll quickly note, if you have any questions throughout today's presentation, don't hesitate to fire away there in the chat. Even when I'm off screen, I'll be keeping an eye on that chat. That's both in Zoom and on YouTube. If you have questions for Richard about the analysis, if you have questions for Craig, do not hesitate to fire away. We are more than happy to cover that for you today before we head out. So all that said, let's get today's session fired up. It is 12:01 Eastern Time, so welcome everyone to Ninjacators' weekly live event called Profits at Noon. If you're new to these sessions, we are live 3 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at noon Eastern Time. The goal here is for us to show you the levels that we are stalking in the markets and to steer you clear of any traps, news bombs, or surprises that could be waiting around the corner. So in addition to all the great live analysis my friend Richard is about to share with you, he's also going to highlight what we call our levels to lock. So these are very important. Keep an eye on these, and we will use these as a sort of crux for these events. And of course, we encourage you to join us for the follow-up sessions where we can see all of this analysis, all of these levels play out in real time. So very exciting stuff, lots to show you. Very quick note, my name is Nate, co-hosting these sessions with our very own Richard Krugel. And of course, today we have our very own Craig Hill in the house, the man, the myth, the legend. He comes through these sessions every couple of weeks to give us a fresh update on his robot lab portfolio. There he is. Wave to the people from Fenway Park, sir.
What an intro. What an intro.
Awesome. And he's got the great hat too. See, we still need the hats, Richard. We're not official.
Yeah, no, I also need that, definitely.
I'll hook you guys up.
Awesome. You hear that?
Please do.
Craig's got the hookup, baby. Awesome. So very cool. Lots of exciting stuff to show you. So without further ado, we're going to bring in Mr. Richard Krugel to lead today's analysis. Richard, won't you take it away, sir?
Thanks, Nathan, and hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. Or I should say today. It's tonight at my place in South Africa. So yeah, I'm just going to go through the markets I generally cover. Then I'm going to hand things over to Craig to do his things. I'm sure he's got some great updates for you guys. So please do stay tuned for that. All right. So before we do get started with today's analysis, please note that all information in today's session is provided for educational purposes only, and it's not an offer or recommendation to trade futures, stocks, options, or forex.
Hey Richard, just quick note, I don't have your screen share on screen at the moment. I'm not sure if you've got that going yet.
I did click on it. Let me see. This is the same thing that happened a couple of weeks back.
There we go. I see it loading up now. Beautiful.
There we go. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Cool. All right, first things first, the ES. We've just a quick recap for those guys that are new here. Just quickly want to disappear off screen there. We've been tracking this upward sequence here from mid-March, and I've been noting that we potentially still in a very bullish phase. Thus far, it has all been playing out really nicely, thinking that we're potentially still heading higher in a wave 3. So this wave over here, subdividing potentially a 1, 2, a 3, and price now heading higher. That's all been working out pretty well this far. So still super bullish on the ES, NASDAQ, YM, and the Russell for that matter. That being said, leading into the Independence Day yesterday in the US, markets were obviously very flat on Monday. And then things sort of sparked off a little bit of a sell-off here on the ES. Same thing on the NQY and Russell. We'll look at those in just a little while. So I've got my pivot lines or levels very close to each other, and that's pretty much just to do with this range that price was stuck in. So still bullish on the ES, still expecting higher prices, maybe even towards the 4,560 or 4,580 level. Whether that happens now or later, we'll just obviously have to recap things and continuously stay with our finger on the analysis, obviously. But that being said, price did have a bit of a sell-off. It nearly reached today's projected range low at 4,461.5. It sort of busted through S3, but again, I'm not going to really pay too much attention to these pivot points, simply because they're very narrow today on all the markets for that matter. So expecting high prices on the ES still. That's quite a nice strong reversal back to the upside. It didn't look that great this morning when I opened up my screen, but it does look like potentially, whatever this was, a correction that might have ended with price now heading back to the upside. Again, we'll be back tomorrow and see how things have played out. And also just a quick note before I do forget, we do have the FOMC meeting minutes scheduled at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. So whatever the minutes will reveal, that might have an impact on the markets, what the Fed's potentially going to be doing with the Fed rate decision. You know, we get a little bit of a glimpse into their meetings or the previous month's meetings and see what they've been talking about. So that might have an influence on all these markets that we actually cover. So maybe this move to the upside now might be it until about 2 p.m., I think, until we get a bit more clarity of what they were talking about. So, but in the bigger picture, still expecting higher prices for the ES. Then we have the NASDAQ. It's been stuck between this upper median line and this one that I drew in a few weeks back that just runs parallel to one of my median lines. And I projected from this previous area where there was an overshoot of that median line, and we could see that price struggled, broke below it, and has since now also reversed back to the upside. But again, struggling to get through that area, that, should I say, angular resistance level. Price already reached today's projected range high at 15,431.75. Now heading back, and it might just continue bouncing, who knows, between this upper and lower support and resistance line. So I would really like to see a price clear on the 4-hour above that line. Obviously been acting as resistance, very clear to see. I think if that happens, then price potentially be gunning for these highs that were set around, when was this? On the 16th of June. So also bullish on the NASDAQ. Again, we do use these median lines or these market geometry lines to try to figure out, you know, or see how price actually reacts towards them. They quite often act as support and resistance, and quite often when they do clear them, that can give you a good indication as to where they might be moving next. So also bullish on the NASDAQ. But again, like I mentioned, we'll have to see price clear that upper orange trend line that I drew in there with some decent momentum for me to start thinking that whatever this is over, maybe just corrective in nature. All right, so this brings us to the Dow. Yeah, also a similar thing, although in the opposite way than the NQ, where the NQ found resistance at a line at an area that overshot a median line, yet the Dow, it found support at an area where price previously undershot a median line. So also had those lines on my charts for quite some time. Price did test it multiple times and finally made its way back to the upside. So also had a bit of a sell-off here on the Dow to start the day off. Price sort of been hovering at S3 where it found support at 34,472, and it's not trying to make its way back up again. So on the Dow, price still not, well, I won't say it's too far off, but nearly reached these previous highs last week. And if it does break this high, potentially going to see price eventually reach those highs. Also, that was set on, what's this again, on the 16th of June. So still bullish on the Dow as well. But then again, we'll have to see how markets react when these FOMC meeting minutes are released today. All right, that brings me to the Russell. Russell had a little bit of issues breaking through this median line that we were talking about last week. Again, a lot of these median lines obviously been on my charts for a pretty long time. I think more than a month or so, depending on which market we're looking at and which anchor points I used previously. But you can still see that the Russell's been really, respecting these angular support and resistance lines pretty well. Towards the end of June, it bounced from a median line, made its way all the way back up again, nearly pipped these highs of set around, I think it was the 13th of June, struggled to break above this angular resistance median line, pulled all the way back again to a median line, and now it's trying to make its way back up again. You can also see that we have an area here where price undershot that median line a little bit. Now, if you project that again to this area where price undershot it, is where price found support. So if price stays above this median line, we could potentially see a continuation back to the upside again, maybe towards today's pivot point at 1908.7. Again, the Russell, might also be affected by today's FMC minutes. So price found support at S3 at 1892.1. And again, also bullish on the Russell. And yeah, it might be that we've seen a five-wave or a third wave move to the upside. This might just be corrective in nature with another wave higher expected at some later stage. All right, that brings me to gold. And if you guys have been following the analysis for a while, I've been saying that gold was looking as if it was tracing out an ending diagonal of some sort. And I think it was last week I was saying that we'll need to see price break above this upper downward sloping trend line to potentially indicate that this ending diagonal has ended. Now, we did get a very strong breakout to the upside there. In fact, I don't know why my lines have moved now. But if you just draw in this upper line nicely from this high here to this high over here, we had a break of that upper area, indicating that this ending diagonal potentially ended. We have a retest of it again, which is a typical behavior of price when they break out of a triangle, quite often out of even symmetrical or descending triangles, ascending triangles, whatever the case might be. And then we had another move back to the upside. So I'm bullish on gold over the near term. Why I'm saying bullish is that I'm not expecting that price is going to head to new highs. I'm still thinking that this might be in the first sequence lower of a much larger correction. So bullish over the near term, meaning that I'm expecting potentially a correction to retrace a decent portion of this decline that we've been seeing. And then at a later stage, maybe another decline to the downside again. So yeah. Again, gold will potentially be affected by today's FMC meeting minutes. So we've got to keep an eye on that and just be aware if you are trading in these markets that you might expect some volatility during that time. So price has sort of been hovering between today's S1 at 1924.4, nearly made it to today's R2 at 1943.2. So it's all sort of been a bit volatile. But yeah. I think if we can clear today's pivot point with another green candle and a 4-hour clearing closing above that, we might see another continuation back to the upside again. Again, with all these markets, we'll be obviously recapping them tomorrow and see where price is and how things have reacted to these meeting minutes scheduled a bit later. And that brings me to crude oil. Now, crude oil's been following this descending triangle that I still think might be a descending triangle, should I say? Can't say for sure, but it's been following the projections of what I'm expecting price to do pretty well. So there was a little bit of a pullback earlier this week, and then a nice strong move back to the upside. So I'm expecting price on crude to break. Let me just get my horizontal line, these previous highs over here. I just quickly want to figure out where that high was exactly. That was at 72.72. So I'm going to write that in for you if you want to maybe write it on your own charts. Oops, not like that. Pardon me. 72. So I'm expecting price to break that high. Now, if we do immediately get a reversal from these highs or a little bit later without price actually breaking these previous highs and we start heading lower again, then I'm going to label this as a potential C wave, and then expecting another decline to potentially complete a D wave, and then another move up to potentially complete an E wave. And like I said previously, I mentioned this quite a few times, is that you won't really know that you're dealing with a triangle unless, if you look at this little diagram I got on the top here, unless price, you expect price to not break a previous low, it moves higher, and then doesn't break a previous high in this case. And at that stage, you'll sort of think or have a high probability triangle on your hands. So it's a little bit early to say for sure that this is a descending triangle, but thus far it has been following my projections pretty well. So it's all about seeing what price is going to do if it breaks these highs. Are we going to see another surge to the upside and completely prove me wrong on this? Or are we going to see resistance step in and another decline? So very interesting to see what's going to happen on crude oil. It's already been gunning pretty strongly to the upside today. It's been most of the day above today's pivot point at 70.82. Broke above R1 and it's now heading towards R2 and today's projected range high, which all lie around about 72.28. So expecting crude oil to break these highs. And again, then we'll just have to reassess how price behaves when that actually happens. And that's pretty much it from the analysis side, guys. Not too much has changed, except for gold still making its way to the upside. Crude oil following the projection pretty well. And then I think the ES, the NASDAQ, the Wyman, the Russell, all waiting for today's FOMC minutes. Investors as well to see, what's going to be revealed in those meeting minutes. And then obviously we'll recap things today and see how things have reacted. All right. So yeah, that's it from my side, guys. If you've got any questions, please feel free to ask. And if not, then I'll hand things over to Craig.
Awesome sauce. Well, thank you so much, as always, Richard, for the valuable insights and for the opportunity to see the market through your eyes. I know I harp on it often, but we're coming up on 6 years that I've worked under you, Richard. And, I have yet to get bored. It's just, this has become a fixture of my life.
Thanks,
so
Nathan.
very much appreciated. If you have any questions for him, it looks like Fred's coming in hot with one now. So perfect. If anybody else has any questions, we'll make some time here before we move on and have Craig take the reins. But Fred wants to know your pivot point numbers. Are you using last or settlement for the close part?
Let me quickly have a look at that.
Sure.
On bar close. So they might differ a little bit from yours. I did mention that, I did sometimes, there's a little bit of a difference between I have a Connectic data supplier as well that I use from time to time with some of the tools that we use here at Ninjacators, which requires tick data. And then I do find that there are sometimes a little bit of discrepancies between the two data feeds, if that makes sense. So I'm using the unbar close for my calculation at the moment.
Got it. Well, thank you, Richard, for sharing that. Fred, if that answers your question, sir, please don't hesitate to follow up with us if we can provide any additional clarity. But yeah, Richard does have that setting on bar close. If we have any other questions for Richard, please fire away. Looks like Fred is following up. He says he does use bar close. His question is settlement price or last price. So just a little clarification there for us.
Yeah, I'm trying to go through the settings here.
Sure. Yeah, we'll take a look now. Fred also adds CME group numbers.
On the data side, same as input series, which is currently set on, I'm not 100% sure what those settings are. I just use the default settings pretty much out of the box as it is. This is not the Ninjacators ones either. This is just the ones that come in NinjaTrader as default. So I don't know if you can see anything there, Fred, that is different from yours.
Sure. One thing I could recommend as well here is grabbing a screenshot of this while it's on screen, or grabbing in the replay as it populates over on our YouTube channel, the ability to screenshot some of these settings and store them for later, which I've been known to do myself, and it's been very helpful for me. Awesome. Well, let us know if you have any follow-up questions while we've got Richard in the house. Richard, I know you do need to run. You have a sick pet that you need to look after, which I absolutely understand.
No
So
worries.
we're going to have Craig step in here just a second. So if no one else has any other questions for Richard, we're going to let him slide out of here today to deal with that. And then, of course, Mr. Craig Hill will be stepping in just a second. So it looks like we don't have anything coming through. I'll do a quick shout out to all of you over on YouTube. We love having you here on the simulcast on YouTube. We love having you as part of the conversation. So feel free to fire away there. And if you think of any questions outside of this session, you can, of course, reach out to our support team. We'll be more than happy to dig into it with you. But coming up next, it looks like what we will have here is Craig Hill stepping in to share the latest updates on his Robot Lab portfolio, as well as a special link we'll share for a live event we have today after market close, where you can go to a full-fledged masterclass with the brilliant architect behind the whole thing, Mr. Christian Hoffman. But for now, let's go ahead and bring in Mr. Craig Hill. And I will quickly note to you, Craig, I do have a very specially themed dad joke of the day on deck for when you wrap up. So you'll have that to look forward to as well. But let's give a nice round of applause for our very own Mr. Craig Hill stepping in with the latest updates on the Robot Lab Botfolio. Craig, sir, take it away.
Well, thanks, Nate. I appreciate that. Hey, Jackie. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Let me go ahead. I'm going to kill my bandwidth, or kill my video to save bandwidth.
Sure.
And we'll go from there. So let me share my screen.
Awesome. I will fade into the mist, but I'll be keeping an eye on that chat. Do not hesitate to fire away. If you have any questions for Craig, I'll be sure to put that on his radar.
And good luck, Richard, with
Thanks very much. Cheers,
everything.
Craig. Good one.
All right, you too. Good seeing you. All right. So yeah, guys. Well, first off, I mean, I tend to blush with that intro because I'm tend to be a modest person. I'm not one that looks for that kind of stuff, but I don't like being the center of attention. But thanks, Nate. Appreciate that. I always feel like $1 million after those types of intros. But and thanks, guys, for allowing me to join you guys today to share something with everyone in here and on YouTube that we've got going on this afternoon. Before I begin, I'm sure that Richard has probably already gone over this, right? I mean, you guys see the disclaimer, right? I want to make sure I'm sharing my screen. I think I am.
Yep, looks good. Sorry, I have to mute on two separate. I have to unmute and mute myself on two separate monitors,
yeah, no worries.
so it takes a quick second. But yeah, everything looks good, Craig. Everything looks awesome.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I didn't see if it was displaying. So before I begin, I'm sure Rich has probably gone already over this, but I just must remind you, because we will look at some performance numbers and whatnot. Trading does carry significant risk, right? And all information in this webinar is provided for educational purposes only, and is not an offer or a recommendation to trade future stocks, options, or Forex. Okay, so if you guys really liked what Nate and Richard are doing in here and the potential trades that he's going over in here, in addition to that and your own discretionary trading, guys, we've got the perfect thing that will help you scale it all. Okay, we call it Robot Lab, and it allows you to take everything that you're learning in Profits at Noon from Richard and scale it. Okay, so this afternoon, I'd like to invite you guys to a free live masterclass where you'll learn a uniquely proven way that you can use fully automated day trading systems to go from zero to full-time trading, or if you're already trading full-time, right, to create another stream of income for yourself. Okay, I'll be there. I'm not going to present like Nate was saying. Christian's going to present. He's the architect behind Robot Lab, and you're going to absolutely love him. Great guy. Let me just give you a sneak peek of what you're going to see this afternoon. Okay, it's going to be about 60 to 75 minute presentation with some time for Q&A at the end. And like I said, I'll be there taking on questions and then save them for Christian to answer. Here's what he's going to talk about. Okay. Oh, by the way, you're going to actually get a free robot if you want one just for coming. Okay. All right. So here's what you're going to learn this afternoon. And thanks for posting that, Nate. Nate just posted the link in the chat thread there. But here's what you're going to learn about. Okay. Chris is going to talk about our backwardation certainty secret and what that even means. So this way you'll know what to expect from an automated trading system. And so this way you can develop trust in a system. Okay. So this way you also, I mean, you're not going to, if you don't trust it, you're not going to continue trading it if you see, you know, a few losses, and you will have losses. There's no way to avoid it. Okay. But you want to, he'll show you how you can develop trust in it so you can continue trading it for the long term. That's the key. He'll show you how you can slash risk. Okay. Risk is a huge issue, right? Not only for myself, but in speaking with other traders, drawdowns are a huge issue, right? Especially if you got a small account. So Christian will show you how to create a portfolio of bots that minimize drawdowns and maximizes profits. Okay. In fact, guys, within the next few slides, I'm going to show you the performance of a few new bots that we've already been running in some of the portfolios that we have. That will soon be added to Robot Lab for all Robot Lab members. Okay. In fact, their risk is so low that they trade full-size contracts. Okay. We've got them trading full-size contracts and got them combined with some portfolios that trade micros. Okay. I like to call these bots low risk, seasonal pattern, trend following momentum breakout strategies. I know it's kind of wordy, but that's kind of what they do. And you and current Robot Lab members are going to want to add these new bots to your portfolios. Okay. And I'll show you that in a minute. We'll get into some charts. These new bots that are going to be released soon. Okay. Not only add to your bottom line and provide for more consistency, but they also help minimize drawdowns. Okay. And that's important. And that is one of the keys to you know, continuing to trade a portfolio or system or systems over the long run. Okay. Christian is also going to discuss with you the #1 automated day trading system mistake that traders make, and he'll show you how to avoid it. Okay. This is something I've had to learn the hard way. And finally, he'll show you a 0 to full-time income trading action plan. So this way you'll learn a step-by-step plan for scaling your portfolio of automated strategies or bots, you know, as you build your account over time. Okay. And of course, at the end of the webinar, we'll save some time for Q&A. Like I said, I'll be there taking on questions. And then Christian will get all of your questions answered. All right. So I don't want to bore you here with any more details. Okay. Christian will go over those later in today's class. So you guys could sign up and register for today's class with that link that Nate posted. All right, now about those new bots that I was talking about. Okay, take a look at these take a look at this equity curve, right? This is from April 10th, when we first started testing and trading these new bots, until a little bit over a month ago. Okay, June 25th to be exact. The last time that I introduced you guys when I was here at Profits at Noon, the last time, well, actually it was the first time that I introduced you guys to these new bots. Okay, look at these performance metrics. So back then, on May 25th, that was May 25th. Wow, it was that long, not June 25th, May 25th. I was thinking June 25th. They made a little over 1,000, okay, from April 10th to June 25th. Okay, and the max drawdown, about 229, right? Profit factor of 2. Okay, winning percentage isn't, you know, it's less than 50%, but it doesn't matter because of the profit factor. Okay, it still makes money. And guys, this is just trading one E-mini or full-size contract. Okay, so again, this was back in May. Okay, when we first started testing these bots in real time, right? And this is what it looks like now. So from May 10th to April 10th to May 25th, this is the equity curve. Okay. Now, this is the equity curve from April 10th to today, July 5th. Okay. You can see that the total net profit is up. Okay. Profit factor is about the same, right around 2. Drawdown, very little. It's up a little bit, maybe $40. But all in all, and the winning percentage is about the same. Okay. You got more trades in there, obviously, because we've got, another 40 plus days or so. But again, these are the same new bots from the same start date until today. So as you can see here that they've made more money over the past 40 days or so since I brought these up last time. So, and at this point, I mean, we're almost up about 2K. Okay. Last time I was in here, we were up about 1,000. Now we're up about 19, almost another grand. Actually, it's like $885 or something. So, and this is the comparison here. So just in a little over a month's time, yeah, they made like $885, $886. Okay. And again, this is only with one E-mini or full-size contract. I know that may not seem like a lot of money, but it's scalable. Okay. As you can see here, the performance metrics are consistent with the last time I talked about these, right? Look at your profit factor. We're at 2. Here it's like 1.96. Drawdown, very minimal. Okay. Winning percentage is about the same. Okay, but we've got almost twice as many trades, right? 30 versus 59 over here. Okay. So again, guys, the reason why this portfolio or these bots are working is because with the winning percentage below 50%, is that the profit factor is almost 2 to 1. Okay. And even over the long run, it's even slightly higher. In fact, guys, the average win to average loss ratio, which I think I've got the metrics summary that'll show you that, is actually it's above 3. So I like to use that in lieu of the profit factor to see what the average winning trade is compared to the average losing trade, and look at that ratio, and it's actually above 3. So keep in mind, guys, these are fully automated strategies. Okay. Now, the final version of these new bots that we're currently in testing now. Okay. I'm doing some testing. I've already made we found a few little glitches that they had to fix, just minor stuff. And so they're going back and working those things in the code, to get, so we can, when we do release the final version, everything's kosher and everything's good to go. Okay. But here's the thing. Once we release these bots into Robot Lab, you're definitely going to want to add these new bots to any portfolio. Okay. And I'll show you what that looks like. Okay. And the reason why the addition of these bots to any portfolio, guys, is going to provide you with a higher return to drawdown ratio and a much smoother and consistent equity curve. Okay. That's going to actually help psychologically stick with trading the systems. Okay. Look at this. I just wanted to show you. I threw this in here. This is the net profit distribution. I shared this with you guys last time back on May 25th. And the top one is the one I pulled from that, right? 410 to 525. Notice the wins compared to losses, right? And below is the net profit distribution up to today, from April 10th to July 5th. This morning I pulled it. Okay. See how consistent these bots are? I mean, they're consistently trading a 3-to-1 reward to risk. Okay. So on average, guys, they're only risking $56. Okay. Look at this. This is on the low end, 50 to 60, maybe 65. I think 65. There's one instrument that it risks a little bit more. That might be the bonds or something like that because of the size of the contract of the tick value. But here's the thing. They're consistently trading a 3-to-1 reward to risk. Okay. So I just wanted to show you, so this way you have an idea of what to expect from these bots. So I'm excited about getting these bots added to Robot Lab so we can do something like this. Look at this. This is the equity curve. The equity curve above, right, is the most recent equity curve of the Micro Fantastic 5 portfolio, okay, since April 10th. We're running it in a live account, right? This is what it looks like without the addition of these new bots, okay, from April 10th. All right. Now, the equity curve below is what happens to the Micro Fantastic 5 portfolio when you add these new bots. Okay, look how much more consistent it is. Okay, not only is the max drawdown less, I mean, look down here. You got a max drawdown of around minus 800 right here. I need to get my marker. Hold on a second. Let me get I wasn't set up. Let me just set this up so I can mark this chart up. Give me a second here. Let me drag this over like this and there. Okay, there we go. All right, look right here. Notice how without the new bots, this is the Fantastic 5 portfolio, right? Sometime in April, after we had about 25, 23, 24 trades, you can see we took a drawdown about 800. Okay. The same portfolio with the new bots, you can see the drawdown is less than 500. Okay. And notice here, when we pulled back, right, after right around 51 trades, when we pulled back here, notice that, you know, from more or less this peak, look at the pullback. It's more or less stagnant, okay? And you can see that this is about the same time. We made new lows here. We did not make new lows here. See that? So let me do that again. So as you can see this little pullback right here? That's about the same time frame as that one right there. Okay. And look at this. We made a new low in the equity curve here without the new bots. And with the new bots, we did not. We came close. We came real close. But we did not make a new low in the equity curve. This is what I'm talking about. Okay. And look at this. The Fantastic 5 portfolio, most recently, without the new bots, we still haven't made new equity highs. Okay. With the new bots, we have made new equity highs. Okay. This is what I'm talking about. All right. The devil's in the details. Okay. So again, not only is the max drawdown less, but you can see here, just by looking at these two charts, these two equity curves, how much more consistent the portfolio is now with the addition of these new bots. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that's pretty powerful. I love it. So in fact, here's the performance metrics comparison. Okay, so on the left is the Fantastic 5 portfolio. Okay. And on the right is the Fantastic 5 portfolio with the new bots. Okay. Look at without the new bots, right? There's your net profit. There's your profit factor. We got 100 trades, average trade, right? This is what I like to look at here. Your average win to average loss right there. Okay. Now, with the new bots, look at your profit. And this isn't a back test, okay? This is trade performance. This is live trades. This is not a back test, okay? This is live, real-time, in the market trades, okay? Again, it's not a whole lot of money, but think about it. This is another, you can look at this as another stream of income, and it's scalable. Okay. This is just 1 micro on each bot in the Fantastic Five portfolio. And this is 1 E-mini or full size on the new bots. And there's like 7 of them with the Fantastic Five. Okay. But notice that the profit factor is higher, right? Winning percentage is down a little bit. Okay. But it's still above 50% actually. We got more trades. We got 60 more trades, right? And your average trade is higher. Okay. And your average win to average loss is higher, right? So not only do we have a higher total net profit, we've got a better profit factor, higher average net trade, and a better average win to average loss ratio. Okay. And again, you know, by adding these new bots, that it trades the E-minis or full-size contracts, and it's literally risking less than $65 per trade. Okay. I can't wait to get these added in there. I am working diligently with developers, and we're testing to get these bots in there. The equity curve on top is what the Fantastic Five looks like without these new bots. Okay. This is over the long run. Okay. This is a back test. This is over the long run. And the bottom chart is what the equity curve of the Fantastic Five portfolio looks like with these new bots. See how much more consistent it is? Okay, again, this psychologically, this is going to be easier to continue to trade than, you know, this. Because I mean, even this stagnates for a while, goes up, stagnates, goes up. This stagnated a really long time. And then at this point, you're thinking, okay, maybe this isn't working, right? And it is. You gotta let it run its course, right? Because as soon as you stop trading it, what happens? It goes up, goes sideways, or even higher, and just takes off, right? So by adding these new bots, you see that it's more consistent, right? It's instead of stagnating, we're just kind of gradually inching higher. I mean, there are some little drawdowns in there, but we're gradually moving up. Okay. So again, as you can see here, guys, over the long run, by adding these new bots to the Fantastic Five portfolio, right, we've got a much smoother and consistent equity curve. Okay. So if this piques your interest, okay, and or looks like something that you'd be interested in learning more about, okay, then I would encourage you to join us this afternoon. All right. Nate's posted that link in there. So you can just click on that link. There you go. Thanks, Nate. Appreciate it. We're meeting today around 4:15 Eastern, 3:15 Central. All right. In fact, one of Chris's portfolios made just about 43K last month, and in his free in today's free live master class, he'll show you the trade performance, so you'll be able to see it. And he'll also show you how you potentially can do it too. Now he is trading a larger account, a 6-figure account. Okay. But I don't have a 6-figure account. That's okay. Think about it. Okay. Even if you just traded micros, right, using this same portfolio, okay, that would have been about 4,300 last month. Okay. And let's say that you need to go half of the portfolio. You can't trade the entire. That's still $2,000. And let's say you can only do maybe 25% of what he's doing. Okay, that's still $1,200. I don't know about you, but that actually covers my mortgage. So, okay. Now, my homeowner's insurance is going up. I just found out today. But, so maybe it won't next month. But it doesn't matter. What I'm getting at is, think about it. An extra, let's say 1,200, 25% of that, of 4,300 is what, 1,200, 1,100 or something like that. Right around 1,000, extra $1,000 a month. That definitely should take care of the car payment, right? And here's the thing. You don't have to work hard at this, okay? And again, just for joining us, you get a free robot. I forgot to mention that. So it only takes a few minutes a day. Okay. If you're on the fence, I'll be honest with you, at first I was skeptical about automated trading systems. Like both Nate and Richard, I'm a discretionary trader. Okay. I like to just focus on one or two markets, personally, maybe three, primarily ES, NASDAQ, and crude, sometimes gold. Then I started trading a few of the robots in another live account, and I started to see results, positive results, and results that for the most part actually matched back tested results, when I include some slippage in there, because you will always experience a little bit of slippage. But now, guys, I've pretty much got a handful of bots. Okay. I turn on once a week. I did it last night after the fireworks. I check on them in the morning. I checked on them this morning, just to make sure they were running, and everything was kosher. And again, at the end of the trading day, so I'll check on them today before we go live, just to make sure that, everything's kosher, and the orders are in there that are supposed to be in there, and that they're flat, and so forth. Because you have occasionally sometimes where it doesn't, not very often, but occasionally sometimes you need to make some adjustments. It only takes, what I'm trying to get at is only takes a few minutes each day. Okay. One of the things you want to keep in mind, though, again, not every day is a winner. All right. But overall, these portfolios are making money. Okay. So with a portfolio of bots like this, all right, you can create for yourself another stream of income. It only takes a few minutes each day. Okay. If that. So now I'm sure there's some of you in here that wouldn't mind having another stream of income. Literally that only takes a few minutes each day, right? So if you do, and or just want to learn more about fully automated day trading systems, come and join us this afternoon, 4:15 Eastern or 3:15 Central, and I'll see you there. Okay. And I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, that's it. So I just want to invite you guys out for this afternoon. If you have any questions, I have some time before I got to jump in a meeting at 1 to answer any questions you might have.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Craig. It's always a pleasure to have you here in the house with us. So thank you so much for your time and for sharing all those updates with us. It looked like Jackie had a follow-up question. I'm not sure if you saw that come through in the chat. And then it looks like Dean has his hand raised. Dean, if you want to fire away in the chat, whatever's on your mind, please feel free to share. We're happy to address that for you. And it looks like he has some applause coming through too. So great job, Craig.
Thanks, Dave. Yeah, no problem. Jackie, how do you work around overnight margin on smaller accounts? You don't trade overnight. The overnight margin kicks in if you hold past 5 p.m. Eastern. If you do not hold the position past 5 p.m. Eastern, then there is no overnight margin. So, for example, we've got some gold and crude bots that may trade, from 3 a.m. to 5 p.m. Well, actually 1:30 or 2, because the gold, I think they trade till like 1:30 or 2 o'clock. So yeah, because even though it's overnight, meaning in pre-market, it's not holding overnight past 5 p.m. Eastern. That's when the overnight margin kicks in. So we've got some bots that trade from 6 p.m., like last night, 6 p.m. to 5 p.m. So if you trade from 6:01 to I think it's 4:45 on NinjaTrader to 4:45 p.m. today, 6:01 yesterday to 4:45 p.m. today, there's no overnight margin. So it's not an issue. And if you do, we do have some swing bots that trade foreign currencies, like micros, and the overnight margin I think is at the most $200 or $300. That's it. So on the micros, on the foreign currencies. So it's not an issue at all. So
perfect. You heard it here first. Not really an issue. So hopefully that is helpful to you, Jackie. By the way, Jackie, it is great to see you. Always a pleasure to have you here with us. So if you have anything else on your mind for Craig, obviously feel free to fire away there in the chat. Very quickly, Craig, I'm going to put something on your radar from over on YouTube. Vishal also sent his hello, Craig, but wanted to know, great presentation, but when are the new bots likely to be released?
Well, we are now in the third quarter. So I was hoping to get them out. Well, I was hoping to have everything, wrapped up by the end of the second quarter, but that didn't take place.
Sure.
So I would imagine, before the end of this quarter. So here's, and it's not like we're dragging it out. It's just that we want to make sure that, these bots are in fact doing what they should. So there's the process of not only running back tests, but testing them in real time.
Sure.
And that's a long drawn out process, because you have to let them run in real time, because they don't trade every day. They're usually I've got like 7 or 9 of them running right now.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes we'll have 2 or 3. And yeah, so it takes time, and we want to make sure that they're kosher and working like they should after at least a few weeks, if not a full month of testing.
Sure. No, and first of all, you can't rush art, so there's that component. But also, I mean, personally, that's exactly what I want to hear. When these things are being tested and developed, I think that's obviously the best way to optimize, and there's no scenario where we just roll out a bot and just throw it in the mix without some rigorous testing. So very, very important stuff that we are working on with it. But you heard Craig, we are working as quickly as we can with those parameters in mind. So we'll be sure to keep you guys and gals in the loop, of course, and any updates we can share with you here in these sessions, as well as on our email list and our other channels. Just be sure to stay tuned. It looks like Vishal did have one quick follow-up question. We have another one coming through here in Zoom, but let's grab Vishal very quickly. He says, Craig, the profit you've shown of 43K, is that based on one E-mini?
Yeah, that's based on, that's in Christian's live account, and that's based on he trades one E-mini, or full-size gold, crude, natural gas, right?
Sure. And how many, a follow-up question from him as well, how many bots is that based upon?
I think it's around somewhere between 45 and 55 different bots.
Got it. Perfect. And then,
it's a larger portfolio.
To see the full deep dive as well today, Vishal, we encourage you, if you hadn't had a chance to attend one of these masterclass sessions, you'll see we have that link there in the chat. That's for today after market close. Christian Hoffman, the architect, will be there. That is his portfolio. He'll be rolling up his sleeves and taking a look under the hood. No stone will be unturned today. So if you have the opportunity, definitely encourage you to sign up for that. And even if you can't make the live session today, we'll ensure you get a recording of that. But if you can make it there, obviously there's tons of Q&A. Christian will hang out for hours and answer every last question. We've seen him do it before. So it's a very in-depth, informative session we encourage you to partake in. But sliding back over to Zoom, Craig, we've got a couple more coming through here. And it looks like, Vishal, you have one more. We'll circle back to you very quickly in just a sec. But Rosalind wants to know, Craig, the bots have scheduled hours in their programming?
Yes, they do. They require we've built a specific trading hours template for each bot. So you don't have to worry. That's why I'll turn them on Sunday, and I don't worry about them until Friday. I mean, I check on them in the morning and then in the afternoon. But those bots that are only supposed to trade U.S. equities RTH, for example, from 9:30 to 4 Eastern, they will only trade during that period because they're set up to trade on that trading hours template.
Got it.
Perfect. So, yeah.
No, if that answers your question, Rosalind, please don't hesitate to follow up with us if we can clarify anything else. But yes, to answer your question, yes, they do have scheduled hours that they'll trade. And then quickly, Dean had a question for us here in Zoom. I keep seeing your presentation, but there's always a button long or short. So if I subscribe, does this program do it short or long by itself, or do I have to hit the short or long button?
Great question. They do both. They trade long and short based on the market structure, longer term trend, and whatnot. Now, some folks are actually interested in, you know, in just that. They're interested in, hey, I just want to trade them long, or I just want to trade them
Sure.
short. We're actually considering adding a button to the bots. So, and it would be 3 buttons, long, short, or both. So if you just want to let them completely 100% fully automated, you know, that's how they're set up now. But down the road, you may have that option to just say, hey, you know what? I'm looking at context and the bigger picture. I got my charts up here. That's what I'm looking at. And I may want to go just longs crude oil, for example, and short gold, for example. So then that should be an option. I'm hoping that I'm trying to get those guys have been at it for a year to try to get them to add that option. So we'll see if they add it. I'd like to see it before the end of the quarter
Sure.
to see that option in there. But yes, long story short, they're fully automated. You don't have to hit long or short right now. Just let them run.
Perfect. Well, I hope that answers your question. Dean, as it stands currently, they'll run fully automated, both long and short, but potentially an option in the future for you to lean one way or the other just with a click of a button. So heading back over onto YouTube or on the simulcast there, Vishal had a follow-up question for us, and it sounds like he will be joining the Robot Lab today, so that's great. We
Awesome.
very much look forward to seeing you there. But his last question, he says, what is the max drawdown for that 40 to 50 portfolio of robots that we mentioned previously?
Off the top of my head, I don't know, but Christian will show you because he'll pull up his live account and he'll show you the performance metrics of his trade performance. So Christian will show you that today at 4:15.
Perfect. Okay. So even though we don't have that handy in this very moment, Vishal, that is something that Christian will have on deck as part of that presentation tonight. And again, no stone unturned in those sessions. You can keep them there till midnight if you want to. I don't encourage it. You got to get some sleep at some point, but he
won't go that long.
But awesome. So lots of great questions here. Very, very good stuff. We encourage all of these questions to keep coming through. If you have anything else on your mind, there's no such thing as a dumb question. We're more than happy to dig into it with you here. And then, of course, as mentioned earlier, outside of these sessions, if anything ever comes up or you happen to think of something, or maybe you're watching the replay, and quick note, these replays are all posted within a specific playlist over on our YouTube channel. You could comment right on the YouTube video. You can shoot us an email, support@ninjacators.com, fill out a contact form on the website, or give us a call with that phone number that's plastered all over the website as well. So no shortage of ways to get in touch with us in or out of these sessions. We really encourage you to reach out. And of course, one of our customer service ninjas, always happy to help. And then while we're here, we're more than happy to help as well. So great to have you here, Craig. Again, thank you so much. I feel like it's been too long since we've had you, but I know you and I want to discuss getting you in here more frequently, and I'm very excited about that. So hopefully we'll have some good news to share with our crew here, because more Craig is always a good thing. Awesome. And Dean has a follow-up question for us here, Craig, and anybody else, please feel free, fire away. Dean says, another question is portfolio such as ES, YM, energies, etc. So which market should I trade as a newbie to maximize my profits?
Well, portfolio. When I say portfolio, I'm meaning a portfolio of bots. Like you might have a portfolio of 5 different bots, and yes, the best portfolio is always diversified in ES, YM, and either ES, NASDAQ, and then crude and gold, for example, or natural gas, right? Now, which market should you trade as a newbie? I mean, it depends on your strategy. Obviously, I would start with micros. So no matter what it is, I would start with micro contracts to familiarize yourself with the volatility and leverage if you're not that familiar with it. I like the ES during the regular trading hour session, and because the NASDAQ can be a little more volatile, but in pre-market, I like the NASDAQ because of the volatility, because the volatility just isn't there in ES. Now it can be, but I prefer the NASDAQ pre-market and the ES post-market. Now, when I first started, I actually started on the Dow, but that was before micros. So now that they have micros, I would just go with a micro, even the S&P or NASDAQ. And then crude oil. I really like crude oil from a discretionary. It started with gold. I liked gold at first. And then they came out with a micro crude. And I like the movement of crude oil much better. It tends to be less whippy.
Sure.
Gold will just fire up and hit extremes like really fast. Crude oil, it doesn't whip like that. So any micro index and micro crude, I would say, are the ones to definitely take a look at. So yeah, I hope that helps.
Yeah. Excellent stuff. And we're big fans of crude oil here in Profits at Noon as well. And Richard, over the years, many successful trades trading crude oil. He has like a sixth sense for crude oil, it seems. He's as well as gold and a few of the others. But yeah, when Richard has a feeling on crude, I'm all ears because I've seen him kill it specifically there over the years. But yeah, one day it'd be great for us to just do maybe a breakout with some crude oil trades and strategies and stuff. But awesome. If anyone else has any other questions for us, it looks like Vishal does have a follow-up over there on YouTube. Anybody else on the simulcast, please feel free to chime in. But Vishal says, Craig, which portfolio of Robot Lab are you running, 5 or 19?
Both. We have both running.
Both.
We got several. And I just created one. And if you decide to join us, you'll learn more about that. It's a 15 and a 20 bot. We went through all of the bots and looked at correlation and looked at their performance and narrowed it down to a 15 and 20 bot portfolio. And that's a great starter portfolio. So
perfect. So Vishal, that answers your question. Both. But if you have any follow-up before we head out the door here, it is the top of the hour. We generally are wrapping up around now. But again, we are more than happy here to hang out, assuming, Craig, you don't have any pressing places to be in the next couple minutes. We'll have time for another question or two on the way out the door. So please feel free to fire away there. Of course, we will be back tomorrow live. Richard will be back in the house tomorrow. So we do encourage you to join us for the final updates of the week before we head into the weekend. But of course, also on deck here before we head out the door is the dad joke of the day. So we'll put you in the hot seat for that one, Craig. As mentioned, it is very on theme for you here today. Excellent. Well, it looks like the questions have slowed. So as mentioned earlier, you think of anything outside of the session, you're checking out the replay. Lots of ways to get in touch with us. Email, phone numbers, contact forms, YouTube comments. So definitely encourage you to do so. Check out that link that's there in the chat. Join us after market close to see more of what Craig shared here today about our robot lab. But here now, we will slide into our terrible pun, our terrible dad joke of the day. So Craig, as mentioned, you will be in the hot seat, and it's very on theme for you here and your background. So we're going with a baseball dad joke here.
Oh, great.
And Jackie, it's so great that you're here in the house because Jackie is one of our biggest fans, biggest proponents of the dad joke. Here it is in the chat. Craig, why did the coach put the frog in the outfield?
Why did the coach put the frog in the outfield?
Those in the audience, you're free to guess as well.
I don't know, but it has something to do with being green.
Actually, that's potentially a different pun we could go, but this answer is not taking that route. So we'll go ahead and roll it out here. Why did the coach put the frog in the outfield? Because he's good at catching flies.
Oh my God.
Right? Terrible, but right on par.
I love it.
We've come to expect.
I love it.
Jackie with the celebratory emoji there in the chat. Remember, a laugh, a grunt, a groan. These are all appropriate responses to our dad jokes of the day. Just something fun we like to do to mix it up on the way out the door here. So thank you, everyone that's joined us here today on Zoom, over on the YouTube simulcast. YouTubers, if you want to join us in Zoom in the future, please check under the video in the description. There's a link where you can get registered, get reminders, and first access to all future sessions. But Dean, Greg, Hal, Jackie, Jason, Juan, Carlos, so awesome to have all of you here with us. As mentioned, we hope to see you again tomorrow at noon Eastern. Richard will be back in the house for some final levels for the week before we head into the weekend. Thank you again, Craig, for being here with us, for sharing what you have shared with us, and of course, the insights into today's event after market close. Hope to see you all there for Robot Lab. But in the meantime, have a great rest of your week. We'll see you tomorrow. Don't hesitate to reach out, as mentioned, if anything else comes up. And we'll be back at you tomorrow at noon Eastern time. So thanks again, Craig. If you have any parting wisdom, now's the chance as we are out the door here in just a sec.
Nope, all good.
All good.
Yeah, we'll see you guys at 4:15.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Hal. I see that shout out there in the chat. Thank you so much. It's always great to see you, Hal. We will see you all again tomorrow. Have a great afternoon in the meantime. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. See ya.